everyone, it is Brenda DIY Studio. Today we are making pillows for this bed for this video. Here I just finished piecing the bed together, so the bed is already made. I just added the covers to it. It's like a really colorful coordination going on. It's a little bit of orange, a little bit of white, a little bit of pink. It kind of reminds me of tie-dye because of the way the colors are put together. It's really pretty though. And guess what I used to use as the covers for the bed? I used an old sock that I had that I don't wear anymore, but obviously I make sure the socks are clean before I use them for projects and stuff, just because that's a thing that I do. But if you ever want to be more creative, besides using like tissue, well, you never really want to use tissue, even though I'm pretty sure there's people that have, but it depends on the kind of tissue it is. But there's different kind of things you can use, different kind of fabrics and stuff that you can use. But I think the best things to use for when you're making beds, especially when you're making like pillows and covers and stuff like that, I think it's better to use like an old sock or something that you have around. But just make sure the sock is not like dirty or anything. Definitely make sure it's clean, because you see how it's clean, there's no kind of spots or anything on the sock, you know. And I was like, this sock would be cute to use as covers for the bed. So that's why I used it for the bed. And I also decided to hot glue the covers along the sides of both sides of the bed, just to hold it in place so it doesn't fall off or move around. So the bed itself is complete. The covers is complete. The next part is making the pillows for the bed. So let's jump right into that. And the supplies you're going to need for that is scissors, and grab some tissue, and then you need a hot glue gun. Do not use regular school glue because it will not hold this kind of material together. You will definitely need to use hot glue or any kind of glue that is strong. So once you got all your stuff going, so I'm going to cut it in half just like this. And then you're going to cut another half of it. I'm going to cut along this yellow line that's on the sock. Alright, this part we're not going to use, but we are going to use these two parts. And we're going to do the same thing with the next sock. Literally, they're the same sock, so it's going to be the same thing. Cut it in half. And I felt like this color and this design would go pretty cute and pretty well with this. Alright, so now that we have all the pieces and stuff out, let's start making our pillows. So for the pillows, after you cut it into this piece and it looks like this, you're going to cut it straight down the line. Even if you want to draw a line on the sock so you know where to cut it, you can do that too. Do whatever works for you, but I don't need to do that because I've been doing this for a while and I've made pillows a couple of times, so I'm pretty used to this. So once you cut both of these into their shape, grab some tissue, start tearing it up, place it on the opposite side of the pillow. Don't place the tissue on the side that the design is showing. Place it on the opposite side of the design. You're going to put it on the inside of where the design is. Crunch up and ball up the paper, the tissue, I don't know why I'm saying paper, the tissue together, and literally you're going to grab your hot glue gun, start using that glue to close this part up and pinch it as you're doing it. So it looks like this. Another thing you want to do, push the tissue down on this side. Push the tissue down so there's no tissue sticking out, so you don't glue the tissue. add glue along the sides to close up this part, but just be careful because you don't want to burn yourself. If you're afraid of burning yourself, use another part of the tissue or whatever. Well, use another part of the sock, I mean. All right. Do the same thing on the opposite side, all right? After you do that, with this part that's hanging, we're literally gonna flip it over to the opposite side. So, flip it over to the opposite side. Make sure both ends of the pillow is closed up, and if it's not, close it up. Ow. That heat touched me just a little bit, but it did not burn me or anything. All right, that's why I say to be careful when you're doing this, guys, because you can easily accidentally burn yourself. And it is not a good feeling. So be careful when you're doing this. Here we have a pillow. See how easy that was? And I literally did that just making, you know, I literally did that so quickly with only using the little bit of supplies. So that's why I always say that you can just use what you have. You don't always have to have a specific kind of supply to do it. You use whatever you have to do this. All right. So now we're going to repeat the same thing over again. All right. We're repeating the same thing. Keep that in mind. These extra pieces that we cut out, remember, they're just extra pieces. You don't have to always use those, but you cut them out just in case if you want to add extra ones, you'll have more to use, but you don't have to use those, definitely. All right. And like I said, with the extra part, we're going to do like how we did last time, which is flopping it over. Yeah, pillow is pretty easy to make. Flatten it up a little bit if you have to shape it up or whatever. Okay, that part still needs to be glued down. All right, let me go grab more glue for the hot glue gun and we'll get right back into this. All right, I got more glue for the hot glue gun. So let's go back into this part and let's finish it up. Okay, and we're just gonna overlap that. And there you have your pillow. So that's 2 pillows that we made so far, and it's only 2 pillows that's gonna fit on this bed. I don't think I can really make any more. I mean, making a 3rd one wouldn't be too bad. I think we're gonna make a 3rd one, because why not? We still have more tissue left, so we can do it. All right, again, cut it down the middle. All right, when you cut it, it should almost look like this. But cut it a little more so that it's more opened. Yeah, like that. What you're gonna do is rip up more of that tissue, and you're gonna place it on the inside of this, like we did from the very beginning. We're just repeating the same thing literally to make this. We're not doing it no differently. It's literally the same steps that we're repeating. Okay? If you need to add more glue, you can do that. If you don't worry about it. But I would, you know, add more glue just so it feels more secure and it doesn't come apart. All right? So let's overlap this other part. See, right now, it's not really giving that pillow type of shape, but I'm going to make sure it does. So don't worry. I'm definitely going to make sure I do. And once it starts giving that pillow look shape, it'll look a lot better. So as you're doing this, push the tissue down on the inside. With this part, we did glue it together, but we're also going to flap this on the opposite side too, because it looks kind of weird just hanging there. All right. And let's close this part up, the inside part, because that doesn't need to be showing. If you need to add more glue to this part, you can do that. All right, now it's time to add glue to this part. Like I said, the more glue you add, the more it will feel more secure. And you'll know when it's not secure because it will come apart very easily. And if that happens, that means you're not adding enough glue. All right. Like I said, if you need to fix up the shape a little bit to make it look more like a pillow, you can always do that. Because sometimes it will leave an awkward looking shape where it's like, this doesn't even look like a pillow. So you kind of have to shape it out a little bit to make it look like one. And there you go. That's 3 pillows we made for this bed. Let me know what you guys think. I think this is so cute, and I think this turned out to be so cool. Alright guys, bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching. Happy crafting. Cool. Alright guys, bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching.